You know what's better than chasing women? Having women chase you. And today, I'm joined by a very close friend, a business partner, and more importantly, a big YouTube celebrity who is Lloyd, the single guy, but he's not the single guy. His clients are the single guy. Lloyd, welcome so much to the video.
Thanks for having me, Adam. It's a pleasure to be here.
So what I would love you to share with everybody is how you go about getting people to chase you. Because before you get into it, I have single-handedly seen this guy go to a bar with a friend, then turn up with a woman following him. Because, I mean, literally in this house, and then she drags him into the shower where, honestly, Lloyd, the music wasn't loud enough and we all heard what was going on. And the shower's small, which begs the question, like, why do you not use your bedroom? But, like, this is the guy, he goes to a beach and meets 9 women, invites them back to his place for wild sex. And this is stuff that I've seen firsthand's the wrong word, heard firsthand, definitely through the walls. So Lloyd, how do you go about doing it? You know, I've been teaching this stuff for 15 years, and it's very rare that I meet a dating coach. I'm like, wow, this guy is actually good and knows what he's doing. How do you do it?
Well, I've learned a lot from guys like you in the past, but I'll give you the example about on the beach. So this is something that anybody can do, really. You have to think about things in a different way. So most guys walk up and they think, okay, well, I'm just going to attract her with what I have, with what I can talk, what I can do, how I can talk. A lot of times that's not the right way of thinking about it. The way a woman looks at a man is not the way a man looks at a woman. Okay, she's looking for something that she can do. For instance, if you're out on the beach, what's the number one thing you're trying to do? Trying to have fun, trying to relax.
Enjoy the weather.
Yeah. So basically what I did was I walked around, I talked to a bunch of different people. I found out what they were up to, what they were doing later, and a good portion of them weren't doing anything later. Because here's the thing, it was during lockdown, it was during quarantine, so none of them had anything to do, so I basically made something happen. I made an event happen. I called it like a little after party, a little kickback or whatever it was. Anyway, talked to the girls about it. They seemed really interested. You know, obviously when you have game, you know what you're talking about. Like, people are really interested in you. They want to hang out with you. Mm-hmm. So that added element as well too. And so when I was getting the phone numbers, a lot of times they were asking me for the phone number, asking where it's going to be, like all the details and stuff. And most of the women that I ended up getting the phone number from, they were texting me afterwards, trying to say, hey, where's this thing happening? Where's dinner happening? Where's your hotel room? And obviously I let them know, and we ended up having 7 women come back to my hotel room that night.
So I thought it was 9, 7. I mean, it was just still too many.
Well, it was 9 in total, only 7 at a time.
Okay, that makes sense. So here's the thing that I love about that, in case you guys missed it. What Lloyd's doing is they're not specifically chasing him, they're chasing the event that he created. And this is something I talk to you about all the time. Trying to sell yourself is not only awkward, not only can it come across as creepy, but that you're going to compare yourself and they're going to compare you to every other guy they've ever met. Not just people they meet right now, but in the past. When a woman meets a guy and you're basically trying to get her to judge you, like, you know, hey, let's go for a coffee to get to know each other. You're literally saying you're the thing they have to get to know. I have never done that. I never focus on it. And exactly what Lloyd's doing, he's not doing that. Instead, he's saying, hey, let's go and do this cool thing, or let's go to this cool restaurant. He's making the focus the restaurant, not let's get to know each other, not let's talk over coffee, let's go and try out this cool place. Back in the day in London, sadly they shut down, it's the most amazing place. Yeah. The Haagen-Dazs Cafe was a 2-story cafe that had experimental food and desserts from all over the world with ice cream added. Yeah. So it'd be like crepes and ice cream, waffles and ice cream, but it was like chocolate fondue with ice cream. Everything was with ice cream. And I would meet women in the streets, and every night I would go and eat ice cream. That's why I gained weight. Every night I would go and eat ice cream, and I would say, hey, what are you doing later? Same as you. And I'm like, have you been to the Haagen-Dazs Cafe? And they're like, I've heard of it, I've always wanted to go. Yeah. And I'm like, I've got a hookup, let's go. And the hookup was every night, there was a line of 50 people waiting to get in. But I went so often, the staff let me skip the line. So I would rock up at 9 o'clock and dodge 50 people and go straight in to sit at my table.
VIP access into the ice cream shop.
It was so funny because everyone was like, you're VIP at an ice cream shop? I was like, yes, I am. And it was just because I went there every night. But I went there every night because I organized the trip to the ice cream shop every night. Yeah. And what's cool about that is every town, every city has a spot like that. Like, we're in a tiny town outside of Austin right now, and there are still some really cool spots to go and grab a drink or to grab some cool food or eat something unique. And when you're the one that organizes that every single night or 4 nights a week, you're not inviting them to meet you, you're inviting them to do that cool thing. And it's even better if there are other people going, because they turn up and go, oh, this guy isn't just trying to sleep with me.
Yeah. Or they get nervous and you're like, dude, just bring a friend. It's okay. It's totally okay.
Yeah. I used to love that. I remember this one time, I met this really beautiful woman, and this is in London, and I invited her to come to a nightclub with me, and she felt I was trying to hit on her, which I kind of was, but also kind of wasn't. And she was like, well, can I bring a friend? I was like, sure. And she's like, it's a guy friend. I was like, it makes no difference. It's totally fine. So I think in her world, she was, that was gonna combat against me, and she could have two for him. So
Yeah.
she turned up, and there were 20 women there that I'd invited. So she's like, who are all these people?
Yeah.
I was like, well, I told you can bring a friend. I brought some friends of my own. And her guy was just like, because there's like these 20 beautiful women. And obviously, he was in her friend zone.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, hey, buddy, good to meet you. And I just made friends with this guy. And I was like, so you two dating? And he's like, no, I want to, but she's not. And he just told the whole story. And I was like, well, dude, I've got a whole bunch of single friends here. Do you want to meet some? And I just had him off with like 3 or 4 women. Now, the girl was like on her own. She was, I think my date dumped me. And I was like, well, look, I'll keep you company if you want.
Yeah, exactly.
And that worked. It's the same concept. Don't make them come there for you. Don't put yourself on the platter. Don't be the one that gets judged. Make it so it's more than that. So yeah, I love that. I love that approach. And you do this consistently, which is what I love. There's no
absolutely.
deviation from that.
Yeah, I'm doing this more and more. First when I used to go out, I would just do the whole like walk up and do the pickup game thing, and that stuff is just it's not really that effective. It's not that fun. And at the end of the day, if you do this consistently, you guys, you do this day in and day out, you're not even gonna have to do it to begin with, because your social circle is gonna be so big. People are gonna be inviting you to things now because you've invited them to so much stuff. What happens is if you give people enough value, and that's ultimately what you're doing with this, they're gonna give it back to you. And I think if you do this properly, you end up reaping more rewards than you put into it. At the beginning, you have to put in more work, but towards the end, you start to do that. And if you're at an ice cream shop with 20 women, like that boosts up your pre-selection, your mate value a lot, like a crazy amount. And it's pretty difficult not to do well in that environment.
Absolutely. So here's what I'll say. Lloyd has a YouTube channel. It's actually one of the fastest growing dating YouTube channels out there. If you're a single guy, or maybe if you're just interested in advice for single guys, then you should go to it. It's youtube.com/the single guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
/ the single guy, one word.
Yeah,
pretty
the
simple.
single guy. Go check him out and see. He's got tons of videos on every topic about dating, and this guy uploads a lot more videos than me. So there's tons of content out there. So definitely go and check him out and see all the other amazing videos he's got. Lloyd, thanks ever so much for being here.
It's a pleasure to be here, man.